My hat! Hello and welcome back. We are working on page 5, so we previously completed page 4. This is what we have. Page 5, it appears we are installing the motor. So the motor comes in this bag. Go ahead and remove it. There is a sleeve that is protecting the shaft, so you will be removing this. It just looks like a piece of hose, to be honest, and that is on there. This rubber really grips onto that part of the motor, to the shaft. All right, you're gonna need this. Now, so see, you remove that. You're gonna need a few things. One, you're gonna need the pinion gear. Pinion gear comes in one bag, but then you're gonna need the set screw. Set screw comes in a completely different bag. I am gonna use the tool provided, I decided, and you're just gonna put the set screw here. We're just prepping the gear. Use a little bit of thread lock, whatever thread lock you have or you like. Well, whatever you have. If you don't have what you like, then just use whatever you have. I'm just going to place it there. All right, so I have my pinion ready. So I have the pinion, I have the motor, set screws in there. Now I need to find that plate, motor mount, and the 2 screws. And the screws are the bag with the oppressor. So wherever that set screw was, and you'll be able to recognize them just by the thread. All right, motor mount. Motor mount is going to be in this bag. So look for this bag, that's your motor mount right there. Kind of looks like a honeycomb. And I'm just twisting off. That is it. And we have this here. Now you need this part here that looks like a giant washer. It's actually this here. It's like a fiber disc. It's not paper. It looks like paper, but it's a disc. So we have all the components that we need. We've already added thread lock. So this here, if you notice, these are the only 2 holes that are threaded. That has to line up with those holes. Now there are these small little tabs in there. That's just to create pressure so that this doesn't move. And we're just going to press on. And I'm lining this up. There we go. And that's all you do. So the holes should line up. Once this is complete, I am going to go ahead and grab the motor mount. And the motor mount, based on this drawing here, these holes, this goes away from the motor. This flatter side goes toward the motor, right in here. So line up any 2 holes. They all appear to be the same. And based on this, it's using the outer 2, so it's using this one and this one. So I'm going to go ahead and build it just the way it's on here. And they are locating the fins up. So the fins are there, which means that I cannot use those side holes. I have to use the top and the bottom. All right, so I'll be using the top and the bottom. And we'll just drop one of these screws in there. I'm not going to be able to tighten this. Let me place this on the motor first. It doesn't appear I'm going to be able to tighten this once it's on the motor mount. So let's go ahead and do that. So I just dropped this in, but I'm actually separating it just a little from the actual bushing that's on the motor. And I'm just tightening this. And I'm grabbing it from the small side just to make sure I don't torque it too much. And that's it. All right, there we go. And sure enough, I would not be able to tighten the pinion. All right. And here we go. 2, that's number 2. Let's look at, sorry, that was a number 1. Let's try number 2. Number 2, use a number 2 driver. So most of these, I believe, will be a number 2. Number 2 Phillips. There we go. All right, so we have this unit complete. Now, the next step, we're going to need the chassis. You grab this. The motor is going to fall in place, and the flat side goes toward the bottom. So this will just fall in. Now, one of the things that you're going to do is you're going to have to bend that tab down there because it hits this portion here. So just going to bend it, and then the motor drops. And I'm actually checking the alignment here, and this actually goes further out, so I'm going to have to remove it. And I'm going to have to move that. So do not tighten this yet. I wish the instructions had said that. And you can let my wife know I'm wearing my ring. I'm not working with oil. Ooh, I'm working with grease. I should have taken it off. So just so you know, I like wearing these silicone rings, and the reason why is, 1, I don't get electrocuted as easily. And 2, if something were to break, it'll be the ring and not my finger. So for those of you that wear rings, consider a silicone ring. Alright, here we go. There we go. Now it's what it's supposed to be. And let me see. So I'm going to place it here. I'm going to move this out. And can I? Yes, I do have access to the set screw. Alright, so stick the Allen wrench in the set screw. And then you're going to use the Allen wrench to just line it up. To be honest, you don't even have to line it up. Just move it until the Allen wrench hits the motor mount right in here, and that's where your pinion's going to go, because that's as far back as it can go. Now I'm going to finish tightening up my motor mount, and I'm going to drop the motor in. Perfect. So the motor's there, just spinning the gear. Everything appears to work. Now I just need the gear cover. And the gear cover, you have to go back into your parts, and it's going to be in this one here. And it's this part right here. So I'm just going to grab and twist off. To be honest, these are breaking pretty well. You don't really have to trim them. If you want, you can, but there isn't much material, to be honest. All right, so now that we have this component, you're going to need 4 screws. And those 4 screws are going to be in that bag. So this you just set on. And one of the things to notice is, see these little tabs? These are going to go this way. This is the flat area. This is going to go toward the inside of the tub. And you're just going to drop this in, and your motor mount should fit inside. Here we go. Now you're going to need 4 screws, and the 4 screws, based on this length, you can always match them up to here. They will be these here. So just grab 4 identical screws. There is a longer one. Do not grab the longer one. Just so you can see, that's the longer screw. Don't use that. And now I'm just going to use my number 2 driver, and that's the perfect size. And you're just going to do 1, 2, and then you're going to do 3, 4. And you're going to bring them in. Now, I do not like driving all the screws in until the screws are in place, and the reason why, especially in a build like this, it can warp the mount one way or the other. That's the reason why. So I'm getting them close. I actually tightened that one. But these I'm just going to get close so that this seats somewhat evenly. And here we go. So one more screw left. And then after this, we get to build the differentials. So we have these here. And one thing to keep in mind is that if you are in the man class and you are racing this, everything has to be stock. Depending on the location, they may allow you to replace the bushings with bearings, and that's it. I mean, you pick whatever servo you want, but other than that, bearings, that's pretty much all you can run that is not stock. But again, depending on the location. All right, differentials. So for the differentials, you will need these here. So those were on that bag with the gears. So you have both of these. You have these gears here. And you will also need these over here. And I'm just separating them because I'm building two differentials. And then you're going to need this bag with the rest of the gears, which, if I recall, I think we're in bag A. There's nothing left in that bag. I'm just disposing of it. And let's see, what do we have here? All right, so these here are going to be external. We're not going to worry about them for now. And we have this. This is scale, so you're going to need the two metal ones. They're there. And you're going to need 3 of these conical gears. All right, we have 3. Perfect. And then you're going to need 1 of these. Great. So we're actually only going to be building 1, it appears, for now. There we go. So one thing that you are going to need is you are going to have to grease up the gears soon. So you're going to grab one of these cases, and one of the things, notice there's no bearings in there, it's just this. So you're going to have to apply some grease inside. There. All right, just some grease inside, as you can see. You could have also applied it to here, as this will drop in. And there we go. So I'm just spinning it. Yep, that's greased. All right. Once you do that, you're going to grab this portion here, and you're just going to insert the gears, and they're all going to be facing inward, like this. Now, at this point, you can do what the drawing says and start putting grease on all of the gears. So I'm going to start by putting grease on this one over here. And to be honest, you don't have to grease up the entire thing. Just put grease on one side. Once you set the gears, the grease is actually going to start just following the gears. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm just going to dab this with grease, dab this with grease, and then dab that with grease. And then once you set the top gear, that one there, spin it, you'll be fine. So you just set this one on here, and then you just spin it. And you do it slowly. I mean, you can't really do it fast. But one of the things that you will notice is the gears will start collecting grease. So now you can just grab a little more, just a tad more. And there we go. So I'm going to present this again, and that's it. Now I can grab the top one, and one of the things to notice is there's 3 holes in there. You line up those 3 holes with the 3 holes in there. 1, 2, 3. Actually, it'll snap into place. Now you're going to need 3 screws. Those are in that bag, and it's the small screws. So you're going to notice 4 tiny screws, and you need 3 of them, which is interesting why I have 4. There's also an extra set screw. Maybe it's an extra one, I hope. For this one, given the size, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need a number 1 driver. So let's go ahead and grab our number 1. And it is a number 1. All right, and I'm just getting it close. I'm not actually driving it all the way in. I want to set the other 2 in. And let me set the 3rd one in. And now I'm going to start driving them in. And if you've worked with Phillips screws before, it's very easy to strip the heads if you're not applying pressure. So make sure you're using 1, the correct size driver, and 2, you're applying pressure on the head so that it doesn't slip. Again, that's the other reason why I like these diamond tipped screwdrivers. They grip a lot better. All right, and this is set. So this is complete. I'm just gonna put one of these in and just kind of spin it. Everything spins freely. So we're good to go. And that is page 5.